Welcome back. You are tuned into Traders Nation. My pleasure to have with us here today best-selling author Chris Anderson, authored Free, The Future of a Radical Price. Chris, welcome to Traders Nation. How are you today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Good. Chris, provide us, if you can, a brief understanding of the word free. I mean, I always thought, Chris, that free, there's no money in free, but is that really the case?
Well, there's old free. That was a trick. No such thing as a free lunch. Buy one, get one free isn't really free. And then there's new free, which is, the why Google doesn't show up in your credit card. Basically, online, you got to rethink free. You can build a business around it. Google has shown that. It's because, the underlying cost of digital stuff is so low that zero becomes the inevitable price.
Right. All right. So is that the key to this model? Is the digital information or digital stuff that is free? Because sometimes it's difficult to give free away. I know at stores like Staples, for instance, that you can buy a pack of pencils for $1 in the hopes that you're gonna buy a ream of paper at full price. So there's a difference between digital assets and hard assets, right?
Absolutely. But more and more things are becoming digital. Once upon a time, my stockbroker was a person, my travel agent was a person, my tax accountant was a person, and now they're all software and they're by and large free.
Right.
So as things become digital, pricing becomes arbitrary, because the underlying cost is so low that, the question is, well, free is probably going to be one of the prices out there, and the question is, well, what are the other prices? What can we charge people for in a world where we're training a generation to expect everything for free?
Right. Is a free enemy of capitalism, or is it a complement of capitalism?
I think free is a form of marketing. I mean, the best way to think about free is a way to sample products and services so that you can then invoke capitalism. Rather than the old form of marketing, which is you tell people about stuff, now because it costs so little to give it to them, you let them try it. Some of them may say, hey, this is right for me, and then when they turn into paying customers, they do so for the right reason, which is that they get the value, they sample the product, they are price insensitive, they're loyal, all that good stuff. So I think it makes capitalism work better.
Right. And I have to agree with that, too, because I go to Costco, okay? No endorsement for Costco, but I love it when they have those little drink cups, those little food cups. It does spur sales for them. It helps them get people used to that product, gets them to taste it. If they like it, they'll buy it. And who knows how long that buying will last on that product when that customer comes back every single time, right?
My kids are a great example. So they're trained to believe everything online is free in one form or another.
Right.
But once they fall in love with some game, they come to me asking for my credit card. Now, it's not their money, but they have to ask for it, and they understand that at a certain point when you love something and you want more, that's gonna cost you, and they're happy to have me pay.
Right, that's right. You have to have your credit card, Chris, is what's going on there. All right, so is it true when something halves in price each year, zero is inevitable?
So that's what's, again, unique about digital stuff. The Adams economy, that is the world we live in the 20th century, the world that our feet are resting on, is one that's inflationary. Everything gets more expensive over time, limited resources,
right, land,
labor, etc. The digital economy, starting with Moore's law for processing, and then the same things going on in storage and bandwidth, you put the three together and you get the Internet.
Sure.
And this is the first deflationary economy that we've built, ever. It's certainly at this scale, certainly if it's run as long as this one's running. From Moore's law is now 50 years old.
Yeah.
What that means is that costs fall by 50% every year. So whatever it costs YouTube to stream videos today, it's going to cost half as much a year from now, and half again a year after that. What that means is that if price follows marginal cost, then the price has to go the same way. That ultimately zero becomes the default price in the marketplace, and whether you use it or you compete with it, it's out there.
Right, all right. Another good example for digital comes to mind is there's a sales group out there. They give away 100 sales leads. All right? I mean, what's it cost for them to give out 100 sales leads? This is pure data, and they probably mix it up to everybody they give it to. So that would probably be a good example. Would you agree with that, Chris?
That's a great example. If you're making muffins,
yeah,
you just can't give away 90% of your muffins because you'll go bankrupt.
Yeah.
If you're making information,
yeah,
you can give that away because giving away information doesn't deprive it from you. It can be reproduced and distributed infinitely at almost no cost.
And that's another thing about digital information is that you can redistribute it instantly, and in some cases it actually goes viral, which in some instances in marketing area, that's a complete success.
Exactly, and not only that, but sometimes if you share information, you can get back more in return. This is the concept behind open source. Wikipedia is another good example of this. The idea of the other form of free, not free as in gratis, no price, but free as in Libra, freedom. if digital allows you to do that as well, and if you can give away your intellectual property rights, sometimes, which sounds completely counterintuitive, people will collectively do your job for you, crowdsource your work, and lower your costs even further.
Chris, is this where you write about indirect routes from product to revenue in free? Is this where you write about?
Yeah, so let me give you an example of my own book.
Sure.
The digital forms of the book are free, and Scribd, Google Books, Kindle coming this week, etc. And the physical form is paid. The hardcover book. So how do we know that the digital samples will turn into sales, and when and what path will they take? Well, we don't.
Right.
We absolutely don't. All we can say is that let's use free for what it's best at. It's a sample.
Yeah.
It's a way to market. It's a way to go viral. It's a way for the maximum number of people to experience the product in one way or another.
Right.
And then let's hope that the product satisfies or intrigues, or that enough people want to read it in its premium form, hardcover, to buy it. But how will we know? We don't. We just sort of hope for the best. And,
sure.
We'll see.
Well, one example that you wrote about in free was Prince gave away DVDs, right, or CDs, didn't he? In one of the newspapers, and it propelled his concert sales. It got people interested in his music, and then propelled his concert sales out over in the UK.
So there's a classic win-win lose, which is Prince won because he had I think it was something like 12 days at Wembley Stadium sold out. The newspaper won because the free CD made more people buy the newspaper.
Right.
His label in the UK felt completely screwed because they're in the business of selling music.
Right.
So the problem is not that free doesn't work; it's that it doesn't work equally well for everybody. And if you're a music label, free seems incredibly threatening. Even if you're an artist, it seems liberating.
Right. That example almost sounds like it can translate into politics, too, but I'm not going to go there. So free doesn't always work, though, and you also demonstrate in free. Why do some bikes thrive, free bikes thrive in certain cities, but not in another? What went wrong there?
Yeah, that was an example in Europe where they had free bikes, and, I think they were advertising support, as I recall. It turns out that free is not enough. It also has to be, good and useful, etc.
Sure.
In one case, they had the right number of bikes they had enough bikes and they were spread out over the right lane, the right areas, and it was really easy to use. In the other case, the bikes were too clustered in one part of the city, and it's simply that the lesson is simply that free is not a get-out-of-jail card. You can't just sort of say, look, my product kind of sucks, but it's free, so that'll be good.
Right.
Free is assumed. The product has to be good and free.
All right, good enough. Where can we get a copy of Free today, The Future of Radical Price? Where can we find it at, Chris?
You can buy it on Amazon, or you can get it
free.
You can go to longtail.com, which is my blog, and I have links to all the free versions.
All right, Longtail, which, by the way, best-selling, another best-selling one of yours. All right, and absolutely fantastic. So head on over to the blog today. Head out to your favorite bookstore. Could be Amazon.com, could be Barnes & Noble, could be that local guy in the corner. Those community bookstores always need your assistance, always need your patronage, and always appreciate it, too. So head out to your favorite bookstore in the corner, too, the local guy. Chris, thanks for being with us today. Surely appreciate it.
It's fun.
Bye. All right, Chris Anderson, once again, best-selling author of The Long Tail, which you mentioned. And also, he's got his new stuff out there, Free, The Future of a Radical Price, all right, is the latest book. Get a copy today, or get a free copy, too. All right, look online for that free copy.